I see there, it was so gentle. The Rubicon was crossed months ago, and all that changing is done. I'll never go back. This body deserves love songs with a voice sweeter than mine, but there is no doubt of my adoration and gratitude. Toes to hair starting to grow back. Oh, and all in between. This is my offering of thanks. What a delightful mind to have, although I do not feel inclined to separate things like the poetry has used to such spectacular effect. This is an intersection, a crossroad. It's present in every breath, where I get to choose how I move into the next. But there's always such debris to clear before the switch can be found. The choice made and acted upon. As I propel from moment to moment, the intersection has this physiological, mental, spiritual, emotional, shaking hands with such wonderful flow of loving dream and this expanding capacity for kindness. I know I'm blessed beyond mentioning. This feeling has maintained strong and restorative, if not returning to my default, until this past year when it stuck. Through all the teenage questioning, the 20s spent on higher education, dealing with matters of identity and spirituality and religion, the 30s as a Christian, the divorce, the 40s healing, and now all languages are as good as another, because inside this fulcrum I flow like water. Yet I have unmistakable knowledge that even this mainstreamed love for existing inside a body and time can only create work that comes from within the context of my life. Ever since early childhood, I have expected two things that I have seen come to pass. We are living in times of profound change. By the end of all of it and everything is settled, I truly hope that some of the cruelties of our time will be Star Trek-like specters of an unthinkable past. Only I've had to realize that existing will always have some suffering in it. That is why I've spent decades in crippling anxiety about how to not cause harm when my very presence has seemed to be an imposition on so many. Now I realize I'm also allowed to exist within joy and love, weaving through my days. I have given it to myself, this love inside the foreclosure, pain, illness, and with the world spinning around me. Well, that does give me personal satisfaction, but the flex was unnecessary. Suffering held me back decades. I know my memory's different and I know why, but I remember being young enough to cry over not being able to express my feelings, as opposed to crying because no one cared. There was a delight in living that I have struggled so hard to keep going, to rekindle after I lost it for a while at 9. And it was the repetition coming to this altar of art where I could address any subject matter, no matter how rude or profane, and writing these words, the process of creating art. That's what is, that is what I'm giving thanks for tonight. That I have woven this practice into something capable of balancing out ridiculous pain with contentment and connection and curiosity and joy. It was decades of work and relentless determination, but oh, I am so grateful. Later on, I will pour my love over my personal headcanon of deity and story, giving thanks for the muse and art and this life of dancing with letter and line. But for a moment, thank you so much for struggling through what should have killed you, body, mind, and heart. Thank you for honing your skills until we could make art in the silent darkness, probably halfway asleep. When one faith language kicked me out, rather than deny those memories of momentary glory, I deconstructed everything. Life circumstances helped considerably as I lost everything this society strives for, and then all the financial stability, and then the physical reliability, and found only this loving that was my flexible core of bendable steel holding me up. The love that flows through me in this moment, while I occasionally ache for those big monumental works of sculpture and pottery that made my whole body flow with creation, as well as spirituality that had a community with it. I'm enough right here with a phone and a keyboard and silent stillness screaming in pain. This is what is real. 2 years of a constant 10 out of 10 on the pain scale, stripped all artifice and application. As flow has spread over more and more of my life, instead of just these times when I run wet with word, delight replaces frustration. The choice I make as I exhale, to pause and have no hesitation before I breathe again, comes out of greed for the beauty of story and the pleasure of being kind. It feels so much better in the bones than any self-loathing ever did. Everything you taught me to believe was wrong, and yet I believed it like a fool. But now that I live in a world where I am loved fiercely and wildly by myself, if no one else, everything else seems possible. That love soaks me and steeps me and acts like light surrounding the puddle of my work. That is my gift, and I am beyond grateful.